Netflix's Tiger King has folks talking, and it's not just your average, unexotic Joe who's utterly baffled by the show's unabashed mayhem. Celebrities have been taking to Twitter to try and make sense of the madness. Tiger King is so beloved that the week following its release, celebs were already fighting for the chance to play Joe Exotic in a potential biopic. While our bets would have been placed on David Spade, since Exotic's aesthetic is pretty much Joe Dirt in sequins and leopard print, Dax Shepard and Edward Norton duked it out on Twitter for the coveted role. Shepard kicked off the catfight by writing, "If I don't get cast as Joe Exotic in the eventual biopic, Hollywood is broken." Norton swiftly replied, step aside, pal. You're way too young and buff, and you know it. You could probably pull off Maldonado still, actually. Wouldn't that be fun?" It's hard to imagine that anyone is as well-versed in crazy roles as Norton, who starred in both Fight Club and American History X. A Tiger King biopic could be exactly what he's been training for.
Well, no, I'm not a licensed critter control specialist. However, I am Mitchell's best friend, and he knows I just love this kind of funky junk.
But Netflix actually seemed more into the idea of Shepard taking on the role. The streaming service replied to the Parenthood star's tweet with, quote, "I'm liking what I'm hearing. Sorry, Norton."
Hey, chase me! I'm your pig.
Michael Ian Black has been laying low for the past couple of years. The last we saw him, he had a small recurring role in the Netflix dramedy Insatiable, but it doesn't look like he's going to be laying low for long. Tiger King has inspired the star to consider following in Joe Exotic's footsteps, which is anything but a quiet life. He tweeted, "Craziest thing about Tiger King is how cheap it is to buy a tiger. $2 grand? I'm definitely getting a couple tigers." Apparently, the whole plot behind We Bought a Zoo wasn't all that expensive. Do you get a discount if you buy in bulk? Jared Leto better have gotten some good meditation in during his 12-day silent desert retreat, because he's going to need it once he finishes Tiger King. While he was busy relaxing and reflecting without the luxury of Wi-Fi, the rest of the world was watching Tiger King's trailer and bracing themselves for insanity. Leto was thrown right into the tiger's den when the show premiered a couple of days after he announced that he had rejoined civilization. And from the looks of it, he found himself a TV and queued up Tiger King without delay.
Not again, the TV.
Mark, come on, Mark. Why do you have to make such a big deal out of this, Mom? You know you'll get the set back in a couple of hours.
Leto has always been a fan of good cosplay, whether he's dressing up as the Second Coming of Christ alongside Lana Del Rey at the Met Gala or diving deep into his film roles. This time around, he decided to try on his best Joe Exotic and tweeted out a bunch of photos of himself in a cowboy hat and a gold and purple Western-style button-down while holding a stuffed puma. He captioned the post, #JaredLetoTigerKing. At this point, we wouldn't put it past Leto to dive so deep into this that he finds himself lip-syncing over country songs, despite the fact that, you know, he can actually sing. Leave it to Kim Kardashian West to be a few days late to the Tiger Party. One day she's casually explaining how her totally normal bathroom with her totally normal sink works for those of us poor enough that our houses can't be described as cavernous. Another day she's letting her 6-year-old accessorize with a $10,000 Hermes Birkin bag like it's normal. She's the queen of understatements, and it's certainly apparent in her response to Tiger King. 2 days after the Netflix series premiere, the star boldly asked her 64.4 million Twitter followers, "Has anyone seen Tiger King on Netflix? It is crazy." To her credit, she has been stuck inside homeschooling her 4 children, which she described to Jimmy Fallon as, quote, "insanity."
I'm like hiding from them.
Fortunately, the reality star later realized her mistake and followed up saying, "Wow, the amount of texts I've gotten about Tiger King since I tweeted about it all have mentioned their belief that Carol killed her husband. What are your thoughts? Do you think Carol killed him?" Actor Jerry O'Connell is in deep with Tiger King. The star threw out a hot take on one of the show's most debated conspiracies. Did Carol Baskin kill her husband? For those who've only waded in Tiger King's kiddie pool, Baskin's late husband, Don Lewis, mysteriously vanished sometime in the 90s. O'Connell tweeted, "Just tested positive for thinking Carol Baskin fed her husband to those tigers." So is anybody standing by him? Where's the evidence? Well, it's slim. Joe Exotic's music video for Here Kitty Kitty depicts someone resembling Baskin feeding what's implied to be human meat to a tiger. The video's description states, "There is one way to get a message across, and that is with music. Everyone loves music." It is believed that in 1997, a woman in Tampa, Florida killed her husband and fed him to the tigers in order to get all of his property and money. People magazine even did a story on it. Does Exotic know something we don't? Considering Exotic was convicted of ordering multiple hits on Baskin, which landed him his 22-year prison sentence, he's not exactly the most reliable narrator. Baskin has also denied the claims.
I'm broke as shit. I have a judgment against me from some down there in Florida.
For former Bachelor contestant Wells Adams, Tiger King had some serious implications. And we're not talking about murder or the very real concern of animal abuse. We're talking about the future of the nation. Sarah Hyland's fiancé had the very depressing revelation that the headline-grabbing cast are indeed voters, at least the ones that haven't been convicted of felonies. Adams tweeted, "You know what's crazy? The people in Tiger King can totally vote, like in elections and stuff." About a week later, Adams seemed to be less concerned about his grave comments. The star was fully embracing the Tiger King life, tweeting, "Am I learning Here Kitty Kitty on the guitar whilst wearing a wig on a Sunday morning? Yes, I am." Move over, Dax Shepard. Adams is actively rehearsing. Cardi B has been taking us along on her Tiger King journey, which is filled with flip-flopping opinions and eye-opening revelations. After a few false starts, the star wrote a tweet that suggests she's one of the many Exotic stans who think Carole Baskin did indeed feed her murdered husband to the family pets. As the hours crept past midnight, the rapper expressed her support for Exotic, tweeting, "They did Joe so dirty over and over again." About an hour later, Cardi shifted gears again, tweeting, "Who do you think is more wrong, Narcissist Joe or Greedy Carole, and why?" Ultimately, none of her fans could convince her to take Baskin's side. The Bodak Yellow singer came back to her original conclusion: Exotic was treated unfairly. Though the Tiger King is worth an estimated $10 million, Cardi considered giving him some financial support, writing, "About to start a GoFundMe account for Joe. He shall be free." The tweet prompted many users to point out instances of animal abuse he allegedly perpetrated. Wiz Khalifa was among the many celebs watching Tiger King, and he certainly used it as an opportunity to slam the age-old practice of clout chasing once again. Khalifa still seems to have the concept on his mind after releasing his collaborative track No Clout Chasin' in early 2019. And if there's anyone who has clout right now, it's Joe Exotic, the star of the most popular TV program in the United States.
I can almost promise you some of you will be urinated on.
Playing off the lion's share of tweets urging for Exotic's release, Khalifa tweeted, "At the rate we're going, a lawyer gon' take Joe case for the clout and really free the Tiger King." In the run-up to Tiger King's premiere, New Zealand-based actress and singer Lucy Lawless had her sights set on live tweeting The Bachelorette's New Zealand spin-off, but she took a bit of a reprieve to turn on Tiger King and check out what everyone has been talking about. As it turns out, she's not really a fan unless she's watching it in the way you'd watch a train wreck, in which case, we are totally guilty as well.
It's a real-life tornado and there ain't nothing you can do.
The thing about Tiger King is that almost none of the characters are particularly likable. We have Joe Exotic, who was recently sentenced to 22 years in prison for murder for hire; Carole Baskin, who some people think murdered her husband; Mario Tabrao, who allegedly ran a $75 million drug ring and casually glossed over murder; and Doc Antle, who may or may not be the leader of a cat-themed sex cult. Rather than Baskin's husband being the sole person in the series possibly fed to the tigers, Lawless felt like it should probably just be everyone. She wrote, "Please God, let the tigers eat every last one of those folks. Horrible." Hey, someone had to say it. Meghan McCain is a woman known for her strong opinions. She wouldn't have her job on The View if she wasn't prepared to ask tough questions, and Tiger King is absolutely brimming with them. Like most of us, the star was left completely bewildered and confused after she watched the Netflix doc, particularly at the pure passion of the employee who returned to work days after his amputation. I have literally limitless questions, opinions, and observations about Tiger King Netflix and the cast of characters / conspiracy theories / people who get their arms bitten off but return to work. Also, are all exotic animal people this bizarre? I have so many questions. Sorry, but none of us actually have the answers. We're just as confused as you.
And that works.
Sylvester Stallone is already casting his own Tiger King biopic with his family. The guy played Rambo and Rocky. Of course, he'd make an excellent casting choice in any potential biopic. But what's more surprising is how his kids fit in. In a tweet captioned, quote, "Tiger King fever has taken over," Sly linked his fans to his hilarious family Instagram video. In the video, Stallone's daughters don a cowboy hat, fake facial hair, and fake tattoos while they pose as Joe Exotic, John Finley, and Eric Cowie. The girl's mother, Jennifer Flavin Stallone, poses as Carol Baskin, and Sly, who's in the final cut, mean mugs as Jeff Lowe. They even dress up the family dog as a lion, which isn't quite right, but we're assuming they're working with what they've got. Perhaps Sylvester could get Al Pacino to take on the role of Mario Tabral, the kingpin who allegedly inspired his Scarface character. YouTuber Hank Green has uncovered the true tragedy of Tiger King, or at least whatever tragedy comes second to murder for hire, a missing persons case, amputation, divorce, and possible animal abuse. It's Joe Exotic's music career, but not because it's so bad. It's unfortunate that it's so bizarrely good. Green tweeted, "The second most upsetting thing about Tiger King is that his songs aren't bad." Green should rest assured knowing that, according to reports, Exotic's music career wasn't actually him, so it's unlikely that he'll release an album from prison. Yes, he still stood on a truck in a cowboy hat in the middle of a CGI storm. We can't ever take that blessed moment away. But Vanity Fair reports that the Tiger King commissioned 2 musicians, Vince Johnson and Danny Clinton, to write his hits. And they took on the project pro bono before knowing he'd pull a Milli Vanilli. In fact, Exotic's former producer Rick Kirkham told Vanity Fair that the star, quote, "couldn't even hold a tune. It was just so ludicrous." We think the word he's looking for is exotic? Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.